Hello guys and welcome to the second EOP acceptance guide video of the right side, and that is going to be bishop. So this bishop is more, he's not actually, with the Dormammu on his own is quite easy to fight, Craven on his own is relatively easy to fight, looking around MODOK, Havoc, but bishop is normally quite a difficult defender as it is. These nodes sort of just increase how difficult he is rather than being sort of you have to play a completely different way. So if you've got a regular bishop counter who you use, they probably will work quite well with this. So what have we got? We've got energy actuator. The attacker's combat power rating is reduced by 100% while close to the defender. You generate 20% of bar of power while close. While you're far away, you can't gain any power and lose 20% bar of power a second. So here, it's just about being, if you're close, you gain power. If you're away, you lose power. So you want to try and stay close. This becomes an issue with Bishop because obviously after his SP1, if you're close to him, you get Incinerates. If you're far away, you don't get those. So you really want somebody who's Incinerate immune. I'm pretty sure you guys know who I will say the best counter for this fight is. You've also got Meltdown. At the start of the fight, the attacker is afflicted with a Meltdown timer. When the owner of the Meltdown timer activates a special attack, the Meltdown timer is refreshed and applied to their opponent, but with -5 seconds. If that Meltdown timer reaches 0, it deals its owner a burst of damage to 200% of their attack, and then resets back to 130 seconds. So basically, this Meltdown timer will go back and forth every time you throw a special attack. Basically, you want to be the last one to throw a special attack before you give it to Bishop, and then he'll take that large 200% damage. This can be annoying, but again, isn't absolutely vital to the fight. It does do a bit of damage. It is what will maybe cause you will take that burst damage, but it doesn't do maybe as much as you think. Then we've got Hurt Locker, which is, as everyone knows through questing, 2 special types of the same special attack in a row, and you take damage. 50% of your health there, so you really want to try and avoid doing the same special attack in a row. Rotate between 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, whatever it be. And then we've got Shock Tether. If you've not made a contact in 6 seconds, you gain a shock debuff. The good thing about this is both champions do it, so if you're taking somebody who's shock immune, yeah, that does actually work quite well for you. It does mean he gets the shock, so there is a way of staying away from him. And then he's also got stun immunity, where if you become immune to something, he becomes stun immune for 8 seconds, but that is only, that's non-stackable. So this Bishop basically is like regular Bishop. His SP1s put the Incinerates on. The SP2 is unblockable, but does massive damage if it connects, but it is dexable. And then, yes, you want to try and bring in somebody who's Incinerate immune. Good champs who work for this. The best counter to this fight, in my opinion, is Kitty Pryde. She is really good. The fact that she can phase means you can phase through the SP2. She's Incinerate immune, so the SP1 allows you to build up her temperature. This also works for Human Torch. He's Incinerate immune. You can build up his temperature, but it does mean that if you get to that SP2, it is then... you then have to dex it because there's no way you can sort of phase through or not take that damage. She's also quite handy. Kitty Pryde, this is quite good because she allows you to also, if he... So another thing with Bishop is if you end the fight and you get killed by his SP2, in the next fight, he will have those bars of power, basically. So with Kitty Pryde, if you say die to an SP2, if you go back in, all you've got to do is intercept once and well-timed block, and you get those 3 to phase through his SP2, and then the fight goes on. However, with somebody like a Human Torch, if that SP2 is still there, then it does make it very difficult. So obviously, again, Hercules is a good counter for this. Maybe he's not the best counter though, not by a long shot in my opinion. I do think Kitty Pryde is the best counter. We will get on to those who meet the Krennic challenges counters as well. One of those being CGR. He is obviously, I believe he is Incinerate immune. Yeah, he is Incinerate immune because obviously he is covered by fire. So he works quite well. Kitty Pryde works really well. Human Torch works well because the Incinerates from the SP1 build him up. So there are a few champs who work for this fight. So now we'll jump back to the Excel spreadsheet that I showed you yesterday, and we'll fill in. We'll see who Bishop has and what you need to think about and who meets him for each one. So I'll see you guys there. So we're back on this Excel sheet. We've got Bishop there. As you guys know, in the grey boxes, these are things to think about. He's got unblockable specials, so his SP1 can go unblockable, depending on how many prowess he has. He's got that meltdown timer. He's got Incinerates on his SP1, and I do need to add in there being close to him is how you gain power. As you don't gain power from sort of hitting him or taking damage to the block. So we'll jump into the Corrinus challenges and talk through it. So, as I said, Bishop Incinerate, so that's the main problem. With the spiders, this was quite tricky for me personally. I thought the spiders were the hardest because I found that there wasn't maybe many champs you could take in who there aren't any spiders who are Incinerate immune, so you want Spider-Verse heroes, obviously. So it could be about reducing his power that is gained, but even then is really tricky. So with the spiders, what you want to try and do, I've said any spider because really any spider can work. Maybe his best spiders will be Miles Morales because that unblockable special will miss him. So he probably will be the best. I've left it blank because Spidey 2099 works, Stealth Spidey works, Spider-Ham works, Spider-Gwen works. All of these champs work. Maybe Miles Morales is the best for this one. I should have probably added that in, but you can hear me saying it now, so it's not too big. I'll add that difference in for the Discord where this will be. Definitely join that one. The link will be in the description. As a robot, we've got Ultron. So I've gone with Ultron here because this is who I used. You'll see a little clip of that in a moment. I went with Ultron for this one because when Ultron is fully when he's fully ranked up, sigged up to Sig 200, he gains -2 or 80% duration of Incinerates and Shocks reduced. So the duration is reduced by 80%. They only last for 20% of the time that they should. So this means that the Incinerates that Bishop puts on Ultron are obviously, they don't last as long. The other thing with Ultron is that this is a energy attack, so he regenerates about 65% of that while at Sig 200. So he, for the robots, is probably your best bet for this one. Again, Nimrod can work to get rid of those prowesses, so those the SP1 and SP2 don't become unblockable. But I'm not too sure about that one. Then we've got CGR. CGR, obviously, as I mentioned, Incinerate Immune makes this fight a lot easier. Only have to worry about the special attacks. And Dex in that SP2. Then I've got Ghost because she can convert those Incinerates into Furies, do a big damage. This will take a few revives with Ghost. Crossbones could also work because he has the Shrug, but I'm not, he puts a lot of Incinerates on, so shrugging those off immediately will be tricky, especially as Bishop is a mutant. Then I've got Red Magneto. I believe Red Magneto is not quite immune to Incinerate, but I think he takes reduced Incinerate damage. Let me just double check that one, but I'm pretty sure he does. If he doesn't, Omega Red can work, but he's not Incinerate immune, but staying close obviously allows you to put that that damage on. You've also got White Magneto can work for that, can work for this fight as well, but again, he's not Incinerate immune, so this is one of those ones where you want to get him to the SP2. And then once there, that's where you can start to get up to the SP2, try and dex that SP2, and that shouldn't become too much of an issue. So yeah, I've seen that Red Magneto and White Magneto aren't Incinerate immune, so maybe they're not the best option for this one, but Omega Red is definitely up there. Jugs can work, Red Mags can work, Scarlet Witch might be able to work for this one, but I'm not too sure. This is another one that will probably take quite a few revives, but yeah, it's definitely doable. We've seen it done. And then for A-Force, I've gone with Guardian because he's a tech champ. He's also 90% energy resistance, so those attacks maybe aren't doing as much damage as they would to other champs. I also think that Guardian is probably the better of these champs. However, now I'm looking at it, it seems that Guardian isn't an A-Force champ. Have I got this right? I'm just looking at Aunt May right now, and it seems that apparently Guardian isn't, which means you're going to have to use Rogue or Scarlet Witch for this one. Have put Guardian in there. I do apologise that I'm sure I got comments on that video yesterday saying that Guardian's not an A-Force, but unfortunately I've done these 2 videos in the same day. So that's basically it for Bishop. I'm going to grab some gameplay of the Bishop fight now. Only short to show you how I sort of played it with Kitty Pryde. She's the best option for me in this fight. I should maybe put in a list of best options. I'll add that to the Excel as well. Best sort of non-Karinis challenges options. We've got Kitty Pryde, but then Hercules again works. CGR works. Human Torch is really good for this fight. So yeah, there are a few champs who work for that. The only problem with Human Torch is that I'm not 100%. I think Bishop could be immune to Incinerate. I don't know. Let me double check that now. As I said, I've got Aunt May up. It doesn't look like Bishop is immune to it, so that's obviously ideal. But yeah, so that will be for the Bishop fight. Let's jump into the gameplay, and hopefully there I can help you guys out some more. See you there. So guys, we're jumping into this fight here where I've already taken Bishop down a few times, so I've bought into this fight and just practicing this fight after. So obviously I've gone in with Kitty Pryde. You can see here he throws his special 1. The meltdown timer is now on me. However, I'm gaining those incinerates, so my temperature is going up. I'm gaining power while close to him, which is absolutely perfect. So here it is really, you don't need necessarily a dedicated Bishop counter for this. The fight is possible. It's just a big Bishop, so it's about getting used to sort of how to fight him. So see, with Kitty Pryde, I'm not sort of too worried about that meltdown timer. It is, obviously I go into phase there. The meltdown doesn't do any damage to me. His special attack doesn't do any damage to me because I phase through it. But then I've got, quite a few, my temperature's quite high there. So by staying close to him, get up to my SP2, take him down and try and do basically as much damage and chip away. Obviously, you are going to have to use some revives for this. You can't necessarily go completely itemless. You probably can if you're like Sweder and MSD because they're just outrageous players. But me personally wasn't able to do it itemless, so I'm always going to take some damage. But you can see there the SP2 finishes me. Then what I was talking about, you go back into this fight, that he'll still have 2 bars of power. So as you can see, I was quite my way through this. I bought through Ultron. He was sort of who I went with. I have him Sig 200. All my revives that I'd farmed were there. So yeah, I do think Kitty Pryde is a very good counter for this. Ultron is also very, very useful. You can take this Bishop down quite easily with obviously with Hercules. He works, although those Incinerates aren't great for him. But you can see here, I need to try and get up. I've got 3 bars of prowesses there, so I know I can phase. So I want to go back, phase through it, and then the fight basically restarts. He has his SP1, but I'm able to get rid of those 2 bars of power and take his hit here. So you want to try and not die to a special attack. I know that sounds stupid, but if you die to his SP2, because he's awakened here, he will just hold that SP2 for the next champ that goes in, and it does make it very, very difficult. But the meltdown is sort of a very, very significant way of doing as much damage as you possibly can do to him, and does make this fight a little easier. Hopefully this has helped you out. As I said, being close to him is how you get the energy. Meltdown, you want to try and prevent that meltdown from landing on you instead of him. Kitty Pryde works, Human Torch works, Ultron works really well for this as well. And yeah, you can take Herkim for this, but you are going to have to use some items, and this is probably one of those fights that you will do. I will say that the Crossbones fight, which will be in the next video, is the most annoying fight, and you probably will need a Crossbones counter, but I actually ended up getting through that not too badly with Ultron and Kitty Pryde combined. So hopefully this has helped you out. If not, please leave me some comments down below if you've got any questions, and I'll try and answer those. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying this little series. Please leave a thumbs up if you are. See you in tomorrow's video. Goodbye.